Kalau zaman saya lah dulu, kalau nak berhubung dengan kawan-kawan, kita akan pakai SMS, tak pun bergayut kat public phone pun ada juga. Tapi kalau zaman sekarang, semua orang muda nampaknya berhubung melalui WhatsApp, melalui media sosial, Twitter, Facebook dan sebagainya. Facebook ni penting dia sampai birthday kawan-kawan pun dia yang kena ingatkan kita. Tapi ada segelintir daripada orang muda menggunakan media sosial secara tak beretika. Ada yang memburuk-burukkan orang lain, ada yang menyebar fitnah. Jadi saya bersama dengan beberapa orang muda yang aktif menggunakan media sosial ni cuba berbincang apa mungkin mekanisme, kaedah untuk kita cuba melahirkan satu masyarakat orang muda yang menggunakan media sosial secara berhemah dan positif. Yang penting kita dengar suara orang muda bersama saya Shahril Hamdan dalam Sembang Orang Muda. Kita berada dalam satu slot ataupun satu sesi yang saya rasa lebih unik daripada sesi-sesi sebelum ini. Kita ada beberapa individu yang saya rasa dah semuanya berstatus selebriti. Jadi kita sekarang ni boleh bercakap dengan lebih terbuka dalam soal social media etiquette ataupun etika social media. Saya rasa semua yang hadir pada hari ini adalah mereka-mereka yang mempunyai satu following ataupun ada satu rangkaian social media yang cukup luas sekali. Saya nak mulakan dengan saudara Christopher Tock. Bila kita bercakap Christopher Tock about internet, internet and social media, look at some of the stats. Ada 12 juta pengguna internet di Malaysia. The growth is about 10% year on year. The population with internet that's on a daily access, I think it's excess of 80%. What are your thoughts on how social media can contribute on the serious matters first? Let's talk about serious stuff, about what the country is facing on stuff like economy and stuff like education. How do you think social media can contribute to these conversations?
Well, for starters, the best part about social media is that you can receive feedback, because many people they don't like to share, especially for Malaysians. They mostly complain. So when they complain, they don't complain to the people in charge. They complain to their friends and in coffee tables, in anywhere, basically everywhere else except the people who should be listening to the complaint. So to improve ourselves, kan? I mean, everything is about we want to try to do our best for you. Tapi kalau tak dengar pun, how do we even do that? So definitely social media is the best way to see what's happening on the ground without being on the ground.
Right.
Yeah, it's
virtual,
easier.
it's virtual,
yeah, correct. It's virtual, so that's very important.
Erin, in your work, how much do you engage with social media untuk menjayakan kerjaya Stephenie?
We attract a lot of Gen Ys with everything that's presented on social media. I make it as often as possible, at least 5 times a week, because that's where our Gen Ys normally check social media for everything that's new, for everything that's current. So as often as possible, but with a limit, because people get sick and tired of hearing about work all the time. So with a good balance, probably around five times a week.
Got it. Stephenie, what kind of interactions do you have with your fans or people who engage with you, and how do you nak bercakap tentang etika kan? How polite are Malaysians on social media? Because some of the perception is that, at least on the serious matters, there are a lot of people who misuse social media to speak in ways and speak in languages that are not very acceptable, not so. What are your experiences?
I do get a lot of rude comments once in a while, especially from anonymous users and all that. What I would do is I would just reply them politely, and sometimes I would try to educate them and tell them it's not right saying these kind of things, because it's the internet, and I think people kind of abuse it in a way where they think that they're behind a computer screen and they can say whatever without filtering stuff. And I don't think that's a good way for the younger generations, because I have a younger sister, and there are cases like cyberbullying that is really big and rampant right now. So how I interact with my followers and fans is by always keeping to a good social media etiquette.
Okay.
Being polite, being given.
So you yourself shows
Yes,
the example.
yes.
Amber, what's your experience on the same topic?
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for all the comments for the internet expert, social media expert. Okay, for me, personally, I would say that in social media there is a good things and there is a bad. Always things always have good and bad. Yang bagus punya adalah, you know, we have human rights. Macam barang yang you tak berani cakap kan, ataupun sedih, ataupun you feeling sangat, ataupun you nak beritahukan orang tapi you tak tahu siapa nak beritahukan. I believe that social media is a good way for them to express the feeling. Bagus juga untuk family, macam parents, to understand their kids as well. I think that is very important. But most of the parents, you know, most of the kids, they don't tell the parents what their problem they have, but they share it on social media. And sama dengan, I think the good things, I think everyone knew that is for us to connect the world. Hari ini tak payah tulis surat, tanya apa khabar, terus tengok social media, you tahu apa yang dia buat setiap hari. You know, dia sibuk kita, ataupun kadang-kadang when I travel, I don't want people to disturb me, I just post on my social media, I will be away, you know. So mereka yang kawan-kawan saya yang follow saya, dia tahu lah dekat mana Amber. Ataupun saya ada apa question, where shall I go in this place, you know, if I'm facing this problem, what shall I do? You can connect with a few 100,000 people at one time.
Yes.
Bukan one-to-one sudah, so it's easy to connect the world. But the negative thing, I would say that it's about human rights. So the people just say everything. Kadang-kadang yang news, the more important news, because kadang ada masalah kan kita percaya about the news, and Facebook paling banyak news, lebih banyak daripada newspaper. And, but the news correct or not, yang itu memang you cannot judge from the social media. That's why when I want to read news, biasa Amber read dekat newspaper, yang the proper platforms, bukan pergi social media tengok. So kadang-kadang the news just tukar. And also, and sometimes they do like very negative sirens. Those really like can kill someone just like that. So I hope people who use social media, that's why I'm here today, I hope they can understand, sometimes something you say is going to kill someone. Something you say is going to help someone as well. Why don't you say something nice? Positive. So for what I do, I'm not so kind. Those very rude ones, I can just block them straight. Because lucky, thank you social media, sekarang boleh block siapa juga. Sebab, those people, they don't even use the real account. Normally they will say negative.
Yes.
And what they want to do is make troubles.
And bring people down.
Too much time.
So they are too free. So normally if I do it for one time, I forgive. Second time lagi, third time, okay, I'm sorry. You're not going to get a chance to comment on my social media anymore.
Correct.
You feel fire as a problem.
That's a challenge. We'll go back to Stephenie for a bit. If you move away from the negatives of social media, how important it is to appear authentic, to be not so produced in your social media interactions?
For what I do, right, and always, I started blogging when I was 14. I love writing, so that's how it all started. And when I was in college, I was approached by my current manager to do this whole, like how it is right now, you get sponsored, you get this and that, blah, blah, blah. So in terms of your question, you were saying how
genuine is one? Yeah.
Okay, basically I only endorse brands I believe in, number one. Trust me, I have received tons of sponsors and all this and that from brands that I don't really believe in, and I turn them down no matter how much they pay, because I believe like it's basically business. If you want to do good business, you have to have that trust and that whole, like, your fans / customers can rely on you. You do not want to endorse something you yourself wouldn't try. Am I right? So that's how I connect with my followers. And I have like followers that have been following me since forever, and they will email me and they'll be like, oh my god, it's so good to see you doing better right now, because like currently I just work with Mont Blanc. So it's a really huge brand, and they're like, oh, to see you go so far, this and that, we've been reading your blog since forever. It makes me feel really happy, and that's what keeps me grounded.
Very good. So kita telah bercakap banyak tentang baik buruk social media, media sosial, dan juga mungkin apakah yang perlu ataupun teknik yang digunakan oleh individu-individu yang mempunyai pengikut ramai untuk memastikan environment ataupun persekitaran social media bagi mereka ni boleh menjadi satu usaha yang positif. Selepas episod seterusnya, mungkin kita boleh kupas sedikit sebanyak mengenai apakah yang perlu kita lakukan sebagai satu masyarakat untuk membantu meningkatkan kesedaran supaya ada etika social media. Terima kasih.
Sambungan episod ini akan kami muat naik pada hari Khamis insya-Allah. Jangan lupa follow kami juga di laman media sosial kami. Yang penting kita dengar suara anak muda bersama saya Shahril Hamdan dalam Sembang Orang Muda.